Hi there, good evening. I'm Lisa Heinzelman with Illuminations Consulting, and I'm so excited to chat with you tonight about Start with Why to Drive Success. We're going to have a great opportunity to share ideas, brainstorm best practices around your why, what success means to you, identifying your goals, and connecting all of those things together. So I want to start with a bit of a conversation about your why. It's really important about why you do what you do and bringing that based upon your vision and your purpose and your focus. People care more about why you do what you do than what you do and how you do it. So we start with our why, our purpose, our passion, our story, our journey, what inspires us, the motivation, because then that drives each of the different things that we do. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to brainstorm some words, phrases about your why. There's no right or wrong answers here. Your why is yours that you own. Sometimes our why or what success means to us is related to what maybe others have told us or what culture might and society might say. You get to decide what those words are, and then you get to use those words across your marketing and your sales and your engagement and interactions that you have with others. So I'm going to give you a few minutes to document, brainstorm some of the words related to your why, and then we're going to share some of those out for those of you who would like to share. You might have some words and phrases that are related to your why, that are internal kind of words that you may or may not want to say out loud. Yet, a lot of your why should be words that you choose to say out loud. You choose to have part of your story. You use those words in your 30-second commercial. You use those words in your about summary on LinkedIn. You share your why and your purpose through your social media and in your conversations. So with that being said, I'm curious about anybody who wants to share any words, phrases, or stories that are related to your why. Anybody want to share? Again, I want to be really specific about this, that there's no right or wrong answers. And these are really some things that we should think about and know in our head, heart, and soul, and be interested in sharing with others.
You want us to just shout them out, drop them into chat? What's your preference?
I want you to shout them out because I want you to share them with one another, because again, you're continuing to develop relationships within this group and other people that you meet. And so sharing out about our why, listening to and understanding something about somebody's why gives you some connection, information, opportunities to be connecting with them, developing a relationship, possibly becoming a strategic business power partner, referral partner. So lots of opportunities here. So yes, please shout them out.
I'll start. One of mine is fulfillment.
Okay, I have 3 words at the beginning: connection, creativity, actually 3 concepts: connection, creativity, and making life simpler.
Awesome. What else?
I like to help people achieve the American dream of owning their own home and finding a little bit of satisfaction to control their lifestyle better.
Yes. Anybody else?
Throw
I
out
want to
some-
share. Oh, go ahead.
I'll throw out some words. Connection, community, growth, and freedom are my words.
Mm-hmm. And as you continue to brainstorm these, you most likely will have words, phrases. You might start to have some sentences around that. And when I said yes, or I said awesome, or I said wow, those responses are not from a judgmental kind of place. They're from a listen to, understand, tell me about that more. And your why should be something that's coming from you internally and coming out externally in the ways that you want to. And there should be that possibility of you being interested in other people's why as well, which again leads to that opportunity to choose to engage with somebody. My why is around your why. My why is I'm fascinated about why people are doing what they're doing. And I want them to have in their hands the resources and tools to create their own reality and to pursue their passion and to make things happen. So lots of words and phrases around our why that then drives everything that we do as we're choosing to invest our time, energy, and dollars in the what and how that we do. This is something that should be an open, ongoing document of words and phrases that come to you to become even more defined, with clarity, with purpose, with passion for you. And I know that sometimes this, and then as we move into what success means to you, are sometimes difficult questions for us to answer because nobody's ever asked us that question. And while you might have thought about some things, it's not something that we say out loud necessarily. And, or as I said before, oftentimes somebody else told us what our why or what success is supposed to mean. And when you bring your why to the table, that provides the opportunity for individuals, families, businesses, communities, team members, stakeholders to choose to engage with you for based upon your why and your purpose. So it sets a real opportunity for that attraction to develop those relationships. Does anybody else have anything else they want to throw out there based upon your why, your purpose? Okay, so we're going to move from your why to what does success mean to you personally, professionally? And what does success mean to you business, organizationally? And for some of us, and I'll throw myself out there and I'll share Janie for an example. She, as a realtor, she is herself and she's her business. So certainly your words may or may not cross over from one side to the next. So don't, again, there's no right or wrong answers here. And don't worry about where you put the words. You put the words where you want to. And if you're somebody who likes the words written down the middle, because that's the case, that's all good too. This is, again, an open-ended activity for you to really brainstorm what success means to you. And then you're going to see how it connects to your why. So when you think about the words that you brainstorm for your why, and you think just right off the cuff, what does success mean to you personally, professionally? What does success mean to you business, organizationally? Glance back at your why and see about whether there should be words in what success means to you that also connect to your why. I'm going to be quiet for a few minutes and let you do some brainstorming here. Maureen, it looks like you recently joined us. Would you like to introduce yourself? Maybe she's not here right now. I see it's just her photo. Anybody want to share some words, phrases, thoughts about what success means to you?
Seeing other people thrive makes me feel successful. Like, that is why I do my business, is I love seeing other people step into their authenticity and thrive in it. And to me, it's my success to see them successful.
Mm-hmm. What else? And I know sometimes success words might be a little bit more internal than external, yet there oftentimes is a crossover of some of the things that you would share in an external way. Because we connect that success, as Brooke shared, out to other people's success. And that doesn't mean that she doesn't have success kinds of things related to revenue and time and either bigger picture or whatever kinds of things. There can be quite a list of the kinds of things of what success means to you and what it looks like. It's not a beach house for everybody, but it can be a beach house for many. So know that it can be tangible, and it can be conceptual, and it can be anything. And it's really important that we know our why and what success means to us, because then that sets the tone for for identifying, planning our goals and our action steps to attain those. Anybody else have anything that they want to share about what success means to you?
For me, it's always learning. I'm always learning and doing different things. It's never stagnant. It's always, you're learning this part of it, you're learning that part of it, you're working with different people with different needs. So it never seems to be mundane. It's always different.
Lots of years ago, when I was interviewed, when I was the 1999 Teacher of the Year for the state of Pennsylvania, they asked me a question about my future and what I wanted to be known for. And I shared about that I want to be teaching for 20 years. I don't want to be teaching my first year over 20 times. And you made me think about that in what you shared, which goes with the reasons why we should share these words out, because it provokes conversation and thought, and it's not about doing something better, different, the same, copying off of somebody. It leads to a deeper connection. And so as we focus on being lifelong learners, which if each of you are engaging through the MTM Institute on a fairly regular basis, as I heard you share, then your why and your success focuses something around lifelong learning and interacting with other like-minded, like-hearted individuals. And so then we think about that based upon our why and what success means to us. And what does that bring us? It brings us something. It brings our customers and clients something. It brings our team members something, and the variety of stakeholders that you engage with. You told me to share a story about Chris. So it was interesting in our conversation in our one-on-one, in our breakout room, where Chris shared with me about a project that he's working on with the chamber. And as he was talking about it, he talked about why he was doing it and how it was going to bring value to the chamber members, to the chamber overall, to why he's doing what he's doing. And then I said, and that all boosts the local economy. And so when we think deep and hard and think about our why and what success means to us, it helps us think about things related in our, what I call your competitive edge. What are the problems that you solve, the value that you bring? Why do business with you? It's not just about the products and services that you offer. It's about what does it do for the customers and clients that you are engaging with. And it's for another workshop and topic, but it's one of my favorite ones to do, of based upon your why and based upon what success means to you. What's your vision? What are your core values? What's your competitive edge? What's your mission? Because each of those things drives the next thing that we do. And so brainstorming based upon your why and your purpose and what success means to you of your competitive edge, and thinking about it from the problems that you solve and the value that you bring, it keeps you much more connected to your why and your purpose. So many times we get distracted by shiny, bright objects of marketing or other interesting kinds of things that come across our desk, or somebody calling us to say, oh, I need you for something. Just before this call, I had a one-on-one with somebody, and I was getting ready to say, hi, tell me about yourself. And she said, hi, tell me about yourself. I want you to be my coach. And how much would that cost? And I was like, wow. And so easily somebody could be distracted by that from a transactional standpoint and say, okay, I'll be your coach, and here's the investment, and this is what it would be. No, our conversation went for an hour where I asked her lots of questions about why she wanted to do what she wanted to do, what she was looking for, what she's trying to accomplish, so that now I can be the best practice coach to come back and make recommendations for next steps. And so we stay consultative in our practice based upon our why and based upon what success means to us, rather than slipping to transactional of, oh, let me sell you this, let me do this. So these are really important pieces for you to continue to brainstorm about and be meaningful, intentional, and purposeful about your why, what success means to you, and how that connects with really your competitive edge of bringing value. It was like what Brooke said. She's bringing value, and she talked about helping people and bringing value where it wasn't so much about those products and services, yet then they're connected to that as well. Anybody want to share any thoughts more about their success or thoughts about some of that concept?
About the more you help people, the more you get help, right? The more help
Yes.
people you help to do things and better their lives, the more your life is going to be better. So just keep focusing on helping others, and good things will happen eventually.
Absolutely. And that's where some of that turning transactional or staying consultative is, that if your why and success is about helping people, then we stay focused in that way throughout that relationship. So let's move on from your words of what's your why and what does success mean to you. I want to do, well, I'll have you do both of these at the same time. So make some notes, because I realize, again, some of these are going to cross over for you a bit. And I said in my introduction that we're coming up to the wrap up of the first half of 2022. So when you think about that, already knowing what some of your goals were from the beginning of the year, they can certainly still be continued. And if you work on a yearly basis, or if you work a different type of year, that's okay too. I think it's nice when we put it into chunks a little bit. What are your personal, professional goals, your business organizational goals throughout the rest of 2022? What do you want to make happen? What do you want to wrap up? And I know that that we do things that might be monthly goals that we have, quarterly goals, and all of those. Not so worried about the time. I want you to brainstorm and think about the variety of goals that you are working on and or want to add to your list. So again, I'll be quiet for a few minutes and let you brainstorm some of that. make sure as you're brainstorming these that you glance back up at some of your words and phrases related to your why and related to what success means to you, so that your goals, if need be, are connected to the why and how you want to be investing your time, energy, dollars, and resources. Anyone want to share out anything? And I know that sometimes goals are personal, yet if you engage in networking, there's opportunities for people to celebrate their wins and to talk about their goals. And we're all working towards something in some way. And so again, it can be okay for your goals to be out loud among your like-minded, like-hearted professionals, entrepreneurs, business owners that you're engaging with. Anybody want to share?
I don't mind
Hey,
sharing.
Please.
Go ahead. No, he can go ahead.
I'd say my goal would be, as we talked about, Lisa, I wanted to start this MEAP program with the Chamber of Commerce. I want to get that up and going, and I want to start the process of almost getting them rolled out with 2 more chambers by the end of the year. So if I had 3, that would be fantastic.
Wow. That's a big goal. Yeah.
Got to go with bags, big audacious goals, right?
Yep. Absolutely. What kinds of things will you need to do? What kind of action steps will you need to take to make that happen?
Continue to call on the chambers that I've already called on and just say, hey, look, I got to set up with them. This is what I've done. And these are the results that I've gotten. Because if I can get the first one started and say, look, we've got 30 businesses already lined up and started. I know how to make this work for you. It'll be a lot easier.
Great. Brooke or Janie, did you have something you wanted to share?
Well, I'd say my biggest things, you said finish the year strong. So I think a lot of my activities need to focus around productivity, but it always comes back for me to be following up with clients and having daily conversations with people, because in real estate, if you're not talking to people, you're really just sitting home and eating snacks, if I'm being honest, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what it has to do with conversations. And a lot of my past clients, I'm always buying like different marketing materials and reaching out. And a lot of times people have really been in a lull, I have to say. And the fact that they're engaging at different levels right now. And I think a lot of it had to do with COVID, because in the last 2 years, a lot of the clients I met, I didn't even see their faces, to be honest. Right? Everybody was wearing masks and, having anxiety around that. So it's kind of interesting now, because there was a little bit more distance. Now I feel like, okay, that's relaxing a little bit. I just went to somebody's office where they didn't have any of the mask requirements that we've been going through. So it's kind of easing up a little bit. And I think people are going to be a little bit more relaxed. So I think it's time to like circle back to some people.
Yep. You brought up one of my favorite topics about follow-up, and my little tidbit of the day is to call it next steps, because if follow-up is something that messes us up about that, say ugh, it's your follow-up is always your next step. it's always your next conversation. And even when we have our last conversation, we have the opportunity to put into place when our next conversation or touch is going to be. And either that can be out loud with the person, because sometimes you might do that in a natural kind of sense of when should we talk again? And that way you're getting their feeling about that, because you might be already be thinking, well, I'm going to circle back and follow up with this person in 6 months. And you might say, when should we talk again? And they'll say, I'm ready in 3 months. Well, you just missed it if you didn't ask the question. So if we set the tone for what that next step is going to be, it's interesting to learn that from the individual, and then utilize our best practices around what are we going to do in 3 months, 6 months, those types of things. So did I hear you say you're using some different, like I asked Chris about action. So you're doing, did I hear phone calls, maybe mailers, other marketing activities?
Yes.
What's your brainstorm about your variety?
Okay, well, recently in the spring, what I've been doing is I give out seeds for people's gardens. So a
Oh,
lot of
awesome.
gardeners around
Yeah,
here, and I belong to a garden club, so I go to garden club luncheons and stuff. And I've been handing out sunflower seeds and everything else. And for people who are intimidated by that, I say, look, just make a little hole and just throw them in, leave them there, and they
yes.
come up, especially sunflowers. You can like step on them and they'll come up, So that, and then I get a lot of promotional materials like bags and pens and pads and this and that, and I'm always purchasing things. So I always feel like I have gifts to give out. And a lot of times people will say, well, I forgot about, I didn't have your card and I couldn't find it and this and that and this and that. But then I had your pen in my bag,
Yes.
It's like, so, and then I had people that recognize me because my business card is on all the seeds I've been giving out, and I leave them in stores. People pick them up because
Yep.
I have local hardware stores that don't buy the seeds. So I leave them there. And they say, oh yeah, people like them. I said, okay. People say, I know who you are. I said, it's working. If
Yes.
people walk up to you and say, I know who you are, it's working, right?
Yes, absolutely.
it's a
And
positive thing.
so around that goal, your big part of that goal is staying top of mind. And then thinking
Yeah.
about what are each of those actions that you're taking to stay top of mind. It's interesting because a real estate client of mine, she sends postcards out, and she got a call from a person the one time to say, all right, finally you wore me down. I got your postcard here. Let's list my house.
Okay.
And she, of course, was just doing that to be informational, educational, all that kind of stuff. But if she wouldn't have been in that mailbox, she wouldn't have got the deal, just like you said, if that pen wasn't in that purse. And, it's interesting as well, our market is still going crazy. And there's so much competition out there. I was at one of my clients last night, and I work with her in her home. And she said the house next door was on the market for $350,000. And in the neighborhood, we're in Pennsylvania, and in the neighborhood where we are, I was shocked. And then whoever bought it over face value because of how competitive it is and the deals they're making. So there's still all kinds of opportunity from an educational standpoint that we can be doing through our marketing as well, that shares that information. Thank you for sharing. Brooke, did you have some things you wanted to share?
Oh, that's okay. I mean, I can share them. What I had
on the spot, I wanted to give you the opportunity.
That's okay. No, that's okay. I'll wait.
Oh,
I mean, I don't care to share. I just didn't know how much time we're having, and I wanted to make sure that that you all got to speak first. But at this time, I'll just go ahead and share it, and that way we can move on.
Okay.
But the some of the goals, we were talking about goals when I thought I would share, and some of the bigger goals I have, they really blend. My business goals and my personal goals very much blend. And I have 4 communities that are, I call them my 4 pillars. They're 4 different businesses, and they're all community driven. And as these grow and become in 1 year, I have an income goal and I have a mission purpose goal. So out of each 4 pillars, what I would know when it's quote successful, there is an income goal out of each one, but it's also the mission goal that's there. Once that mission has really set in place and is working, then I know that that's a good time. And then the ultimate goal is for that to be ongoing and really working itself while I move into the physical, the personal goal, which is a community on a piece of property. And we've obtained the property. Now we're just going to start building the community. So it's going to start blending together.
Right.
Yeah. So that's all I was going to share.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate you sharing that, because I wanted to share about how there's a variety of ways that we think about this. And if you hear what she said related to that, that goes back to her why and what success means to her, which then drives those goals for us to implement. Is there anybody else who wants to share?
Oh, hi, I'm just going to jump in. We got here late, but I really liked the words in your marketing email. And does anybody work on real estate rentals near the UPenn area, the college UPenn area? No? Okay. My nephew's going there in the fall. He's looking for an apartment. But no, I think some of the, you are?
I could probably put your information to get you somebody in that area, because my company has 80,000 plus realtors. So I mean, I'm sure we have somebody in your area, but I could look that up and get that back to you.
Yeah, that would be great. My email's there, Maureen Mansfield at post.harvard.edu.
Okay.
I've been renting properties for 30 years, and I'm going to, it's not really my day job. My day job is working with a law firm to help entrepreneurs, inventors, and small businesses protect their passion with legal and patent work. But I also have, I guess, done very well in business in the stock market. So I have several rentals, and I'm going to be converting one property into 4 to 9 condos, waterfront property. And, so it's always good to hear some other inspirational stories. And it's like everybody wants to share in the money windfall, but very few people want to be there from the get-go. So how do you, meet, reward, engage, and give back? I also do give back to my church community and my colleges. And I just donated about $1,000 to repair a fence. So I think Brooke, I really like what you said about I never have heard it verbalized, but like a income goal and also mission. And that was very meaningful for me tonight. And because sometimes I've even taken a tenant at less than market value when I could tell they really needed the property. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, so please, Janie, send me that. And Lisa, please keep me on your mailing list.
So your primary area where you're looking is the University of Penn, right?
Yeah, UPenn. He's going to be,
okay.
Yeah,
okay. I'll find someone in that area and connect with you.
Well, I mean, it's so scary because, well, we have family from Pennsylvania. Actually, our Scottish roots are from Pennsylvania from like 1720. But, you know, in this day and age, it's hard to trust anybody.
You have to vet,
So,
you have
I
to
wasn't
vet
sure-
renters, for sure.
I wasn't sure when you said UPenn. So do you mean the University of Pennsylvania?
The Ivy League.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a presidential scholar. He's like really tops, and yeah, so he's on to really, you know, hopefully he'll be doing something like the next Moderna or Pfizer. So he's just a bright kid, and you know, we're a little protective of him because he is so bright, and it would be nice to have, you know, like a little anchor down there. I'm in Boston area, so I've been there for visit friends and family in the past. So, okay, thanks so much.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Anybody else want to share anything about your personal, professional, business, organizational goals? So we start with our why. What's your why? What's your purpose? What's your passion? And we think about then, based upon that, what does success mean to you personally, professionally, business, organizationally, which then drives your personal, professional goals, your business, organizational goals. And I know that sometimes we don't really want to think about goals, yet I love that this group has a real focus on goals. And so when we think about goals, that it doesn't have to be that it's a great big complex concept kind of thing around goals. Your goals can also be task kinds of things, and they can be planning kinds of things, that this is something that I want to put into place. And goals are really the opportunity to create habits. And so if you're not doing something that you want to be doing, you can create a goal and make that be a habit. So for instance, if Janie wasn't making the phone calls she wanted to make on a regular basis, and if she was one of the people who wanted to make 50 phone calls per week and that wasn't a habit, she could create that habit by creating a goal to make that happen. And so we can get very specific about those individual goals that are task oriented, that set the tone for our success. And so we choose goals that are specific, and they're measurable, and they're achievable, and they're resourced, and they have time connected to them. Those words I just said, if you wrote those down, see, they spell smart. And SMART goals are a corporate kind of thing that's been around for years and years and years. I have a document that I've expanded some of that to call it Why Smarter Goals, and adds on to the acronym related to that. And so with that, you want to create those specific measurable goals. And then you want to think about, what are the rewards for you to achieve that goal? And when you think about the rewards, you want to do that of, what do you care about? What's in your face about that being your goal? And then what are the consequences if you don't achieve that goal? And some of those words might be opposite from the rewards and the consequences. And they need to be your words that are in your face. So you have your goal, you have your rewards, you have your consequences. Then you think about, what are any of the obstacles or barriers to achieve that goal? Put everything down And that could be something that distracts you, interrupts you, you're your own barrier, your goal. Somebody else, something else is your barrier, your goal. You don't know something, you don't think you have access, you don't have a resource, whatever those words are, you write down those barriers and your obstacles. Then for each barrier and obstacle, you brainstorm. Since we're on brainstorming today, we stay on brainstorming because you brainstorm any possible solution to overcome that obstacle or that barrier or that interruption. And then after you brainstorm what those things are, oftentimes we figure out, well, this might not be so difficult overall. And so then based upon that brainstorming of those possible solutions, then choose those solutions as particular action steps that you're going to put into place. Describe, write out those action steps and put time related to those. And consider what you can delegate out to somebody else. So if you don't know something or you know somebody better than you at email marketing or doing social media or making phone calls or creating a document to use, get part of that action plan delegated out to somebody else. And as you create those action steps, you want to think about what processes, structures, or systems do you need to put into place, get them into place within however many days or a week that it takes you. And then you have already set yourself up for success to be working in and on that goal, that then you give yourself some grace to be working in and on that goal for a week by what you're doing on whatever daily basis to be working on that goal. You don't have to be doing it every day. It depends on what your goal is, but what's the daily, weekly, monthly investment of your time, energy, and dollars on working on that goal. Here's the cool thing. It only takes 21 days to create a habit. So if you start to do whatever the activity is to attain your goal, and you do it on a regular basis, proportionate to 21 days, you're going to keep doing it all the time. So when I say 21 days, and if I just said, if it takes you a week or a little bit longer to put your systems together, you can be starting to achieve that goal in the first month of time. And then you continue your best practice action steps into month 2. So now you're starting to get really good. Then you continue it into month 3. And you're really starting to get some traction and return on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So if you did 3 months, that makes a quarter. So if you started in July with something that you want to accomplish, you set yourself up for success to make that happen. You begin working it throughout the rest of July. You continue to work it through August. And then you continue to work through September. You have that opportunity, depending upon what it is, for some measurable results by the end of September. And then you may have created your habit to take you through the rest of the year, to really achieve some things that you want to have happen by the end of December. So consider the UG that we do about goals. Consider how we turn on some things and have turned on things in the past, and then try it for 2 days after we set this goal. And then we say, well, that kind of sucked because that didn't work. So now I'm not going to do that anymore. Well, you didn't really give yourself or the best practices or your tools and resources the opportunity to really make it work. So you have some real opportunity to make some things happen that are significant to grow personally, professionally, in your business, throughout your organization. And you can have task sheets for each one of those. I use goal planning sheets, and the things that I shared with you are what's on those goal planning sheets to utilize. And so they can be a really powerful tool to make things happen. Thoughts, feelings, ideas about that? So what are you going to make happen? What are your takeaways?
I'm actually pretty upset. Sounds like you're wrapping up, so I'll turn the camera back on too. But I'm actually pretty upset about the removing of the obstacles part, because my personal goal was to have a consistent exercise practice. And now I have no excuse to keep putting it off. But I will use that to say that removing of the obstacle part was very, very powerful.
All right.
Yes, yes.
We love when there's takeaways. So your obstacles ended up being excuses, I guess, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, basically myself, yes, or making the time necessary, creating enough energy, yes, all of those things. I can't, I kind of have to start working on them. Basically, I was fine with the obstacles.
Yes, absolutely. Anybody else? Some takeaways?
Oh, I'll talk about my obstacle. My obstacle is paperwork. I always have a lot of paperwork, and it seems it's a mundane, I hate to say time suck. It is a time suck. A rabbit hole of time suck.
Yes.
So I figured the easiest way to get around that obstacle is to get it like hit it early in the morning, at least get 1 hour of this is my paperwork hour, before anything else starts happening. I'm thinking that might be a way to overcome that obstacle, because it is an obstacle. It's always oh, these papers, that papers, this one, that one, get that. Like today, my biggest thing was a board package for somebody for a co-op, and everybody hates them because they're like a stack like this. So it's 1 million documents, right? So I'm thinking that would be a good way if I'm able to, attack that early in the morning. They say eat the frog. Early in the morning. I gotta eat the frog early in the morning, even though I hate to eat the frog. Yeah.
Right. Well, and I was just going to say, you just shared a best practice. And so if you don't know Eat the Frog, Google it. It's a short video on YouTube, and it's about procrastination. And it's about do that thing first and get that out of the way, or do it at the right time for you. If you're not a first time of the day, get something done, then eat your frog at a different part of the day, because you need to make it work for yourself. And the other thing is how can you figure out for somebody else potentially to be doing some of that paperwork for you, if that's something that you can eventually give to somebody. Because we need to be investing our time and energy in the activities to achieve the results that you desire. And we need to be doing what we're excited about, what gives us a return. And that doesn't just mean a return on investment in dollars, it's the return overall. And if there are things that we can sub out to somebody else that is better from an expertise standpoint, even if you're good at it, you can still sub it out. And we need to utilize virtual assistants, subcontractors, employees, technology tools and resources as much as we can, so that you're investing time and energy. What am I going to say? In your why and what success means to you, so you can be doing what you love and providing value to yourself, your family, your friends, your clients, your customers, your team members, your communities, your stakeholders. Thanks for bringing that one up. Anybody else have a takeaway or last word of the day?
I like the focus on the rewards. Sometimes I can just make my to-do list and I can figure out all the different strategies to get it done. But sometimes if you forget about the rewards, you sometimes just leave. I mean, I don't know, for me, I just get so involved in the process that I forget that I'm doing it for the betterment of my system or whatever, you know. It's just, but I just think I can get distracted and forget that I love to do this. I like to, you know, it's like, you know, I'm just doing it on like an automatic system almost.
Right.
So, I don't know. It was just with this activity and starting from the why and having that grow, I kind of saw some other rewards that I'd kind of forgotten that if I had, you know, if I put some things into practice, I'll get rewards that I would have just left out for someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you made me think about something else too, from that entrepreneurial and business owner spirit. So often we're quick on to the next thing. And so we put stuff in place, we make things happen, we're happy, we go, and then we're on to the next kind of thing. And what we forget to do is to celebrate often. And we should be celebrating our successes so that we are doing more of them. And we're reflecting upon why we're doing what we're doing. And that sometimes when we need to, that we break habits that are no longer efficient, effective, and productive. I added that phrase to another list of phrases over last year. It all of a sudden came to me, and I always was talking about it, but I didn't really, what do I want to say, coin it. So I always said, let's celebrate our strengths. Let's identify areas for growth. Let's consider ideas to develop. And let's break habits that are no longer efficient, effective, and productive. And the problem is there's so much learning that we have out there and so many resources and tools, we pile them up. And then it's more stuff to do. And then it seems like, oh my gosh, I was so excited about that. How am I going to implement it? And so instead of adding things in, we need to integrate them into what we're doing. And we need to stop doing some things. And if the stop doing things are because they're no longer relevant, that's great. But if the stop doing things is because really somebody else should be doing them, then we get somebody else to do them. But I want to go back to the first one, that if they're no longer relevant, it's hard to break habits as well as it is to create habits through your goals. So give yourself some grace and let you break some habits that are really no longer efficient, effective, and productive. Anybody with the last word of the day?
Focus and be intentional.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Focus and be intentional.
Yes, that's one of my favorite words, being intentional. Well, I
So-
want to thank you. I want to thank you all very much. Choose to invest your time and energy in activities to achieve the results that you desire based upon your why, your purpose, your focus, what success means to you. And then invest your time and energy in those activities to really make things happen. Thank you so much and have a great rest of the day. My information is in the chat. I welcome the opportunity to connect with you on LinkedIn, to have a one-on-one conversation, to continue our conversation around this topic, to catch you out networking somewhere or connect with you on any of your other social media channels. I appreciate your participation.
Thank you,
So
Lisa.
work smart, achieve results, and celebrate often.
Thank you. Great presentation, Lisa. We appreciate you. We celebrate you. We appreciate all your hard work. We do not have time for another